Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. It is Thursday, May the 8th, 2025, and on the day that the Washington Capitals tie the Eastern Conference quarterfinals, we're here to talk professional wrestling. Gave myself a little bit of a mind fuck because I heard myself in the background.
I forgot I still had the YouTube page open, so it was we were hearing our own live broadcast.
I was very confused for a minute. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like,
I thought I heard something different with the music, and I was like, how? What the hell is happening? And then I realized what was happening when you started talking.
I had an immediate level of panic where I was just like, what did I do?
Because Switchboard's fucked with us before, so
that's why I said, what did I do? Because
StreamYard,
I'm so confused.
Yeah, StreamYard's fucked with us already enough, so we that could have easily been the issue. But no, so I pulled up the YouTube page so I could prepare the post to put out on the Twitter page at Take 3. Was it at Take 3
Wrestling?
Was there more? Yeah, it's at Take 3 Wrestling. Why the hell I think it was something different? So like where I tweet out when we change segments on the show, and yeah, I thought I just forgot to close the YouTube page.
Sick.
So that was fun.
All right, we got a chock full show. Joe will be with us momentarily as he is on assignment doing something. So talking to Joe today, because I was scrolling through the world that is social media, and I saw that there was a cool little thing that popped up that said, oh, watch these Throwback Thursday Ring of Honor things over on watchringofhonor.com. And I'm like, all right, I wonder what matches they're promoting, because, you know, sometimes there's a cool throwback in there that I was like, man, maybe I'll go on and watch that. So I'm looking, and I go, you know what? Hold on. Let me go into the motherboard here and see if they've got a bunch of the older shows up, because me and Joe had talked prior to Tony Khan presenting Ring of Honor becoming a thing, and the Ring of Honor board basically, or the video library being a lost commodity because nobody owned it. We were like, man, we'd really like to go back and do a rewatch of Honor, and that's what we were gonna do. We were gonna do a podcast. We were gonna name it Rewatch of Honor, and we were gonna probably just try to go and watch 3 to 4 shows, and then do like a bulk podcast about that group of shows. And you know, because doing one for every show is probably difficult, because unless you're taking notes on the show, you have to kind of do it right then and there.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it, and we were contemplating all that stuff. And I was like, you know, maybe we do, you know, maybe we do that. Maybe we do something else. And we chose to do the Rewatch of Honor, which we were going to launch. And then it became increasingly more expensive to find old Ring of Honor DVDs, because you're buying them off of eBay, you're buying them secondary market, you know, and some of those old Ring of Honor DVDs can collect a pretty penny, because it's the last match of Bryan Danielson, the last match of CM Punk, et cetera, et cetera. So we were like, all right, man, maybe we can't do this. So then when Tony Khan Presents Ring of Honor became a thing, I was like, oh shit, maybe they'll put all the library on a streaming platform, and we can kind of do the Rewatch of Honor that way. So we were waiting, and never happened. And then it was, oh, here's a show. Oh, here's another show. I'm like, man, I don't want to watch these things out of order, and B, it's like you're putting up a full show from 2005, and then you're putting up a full show from 2009. And
Right.
like it's not even like I can go full show to then go watch another full show. So I was looking today. They at least have all of year 1 and year 2 for
Okay.
sure on watchringofhonor.com. So I'm probably going to end up being a sucker and paying for it. So
Happens to the best of us.
I'm going to look into it more before I actually spend the full money, because if the full library is there, they have a better shot of getting me hook, line, and sinker, because while doing that, I can go back and watch some of the shows that I was at, some of the other shows that I won't be able to watch till 88 weeks from now, whenever me and Joe get to like 2007, like just other things, like random matches that I remember from good shows, stuff like that. So like they have a better shot at getting me if the full library is on there. And it's kind of been the reason why I haven't invested into it yet, because I kind of want to do a little bit more research. But yeah, I was really excited whenever I saw that the first 2 years were up there, because I was like, man, if those 2 years are up there, we got a fighting chance. But yeah, so we got a WWE pay-per-view this weekend. We have the releases. That's Joe's topic. I don't really have anything necessarily on the docket per se. I was kind of just gonna float around, and I was gonna see how you guys felt about potentially playing a game, but Joe's not here yet. So, and I kind of preambled and rambled, hopefully that he would be here by the time we got into the Ring
We
of
have
Honor.
confirmed he's awake, which is
That's a goal in itself at 11 o'clock.
more than I was giving credit for.
Yeah, he worked a morning shift today, and Jim can attest to it. When Joe works a morning shift, it's normally not great, Bob.
No, Joe requires more sleep than I do.
All of us.
All of us. Today during my work day, I work remotely. My team, we have people scattered. I live in Pennsylvania. A couple people in Pennsylvania. We have one in Ohio, one in Michigan, and
Michigan.
Somebody had said that they were just. Oh, somebody's gonna go. Is anyone really tired of? And like, they were gonna say something that's been like a frustration at work. And it's like a little like programming deal that we have to work around every time. But like, we all just kind of like raised our hands. Like, are you, anybody else tired? We just raised our hand. And I was like, what, did everybody have a late night? And one of my team members goes, James, every night's a late night for you. And I go, well, no. I said, like, a late night for me would be like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
One of our newest team members, she's been with us for a couple weeks now. She was like, what? And I went, oh yeah. I'm like 1:30 in the morning is like bedtime for me. And she didn't know how to respond.
I don't know that there is a response. You just kind of go, oh, okay, that's nice.
Like, so I will usually try to go into lay down to go to bed around midnight, 12:30. When I'm like reading stuff on my phone, whatever, and just kind of unwinding. Usually takes half an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. It's usually 1:30 till I end up falling asleep, and I'm awake at 7:30 usually every day. 7:30. Now I'm not getting up out of bed always right away. I don't start work till 9. But I'm the type of person, man. I'm like a diesel engine. I gotta wake up slow.
Yeah.
Like, if I need to leave the house at 9, I'm waking up at 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a miserable fuck if I have to wake up, get dressed, and leave the house. Just period. It's never good.
You're not the only one. Trust me, I'm kind of the same way. So when I was working at the old job, driving an hour to work was a real fucking real piss off, because I was just like, oh cool, I'm gonna fucking go drive for the next like 3 days is what this feels like. So all right, I guess let's I don't know really where to begin here because I don't want to get too deep into the previewing of the show, and obviously the other topic was Joe's. So I guess I'm going to come up with something here on the fly, and more or less because I have it sitting in front of me. It's the TKO first quarter 2025 earnings call.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen anything from this today.
The call coverage, Mike Johnson of PW Insider talks about it here. Ari Emanuel commented, raising their guidance for their Q1 success. He touted the assimilation of the On Location and the professional bull riders into the company. He praised the UFC success in foreign countries as of London and Australia, then praised the deal to hold a major WWE and UFC deals in Perth, which is October, correct? Is that?
I believe so.
I think that's the Perth deal.
Returning to Australia, October 2025 series events in Perth. Crown Jewel on October 11th, SmackDown October 10th, and Monday Night Raw on October 13th.
He then said they had a record-breaking WrestleMania 41, WWE's most successful event in history. Adam Schneimer said they were off to a great start. He began breaking down financial statements that were released earlier today. He says since the UFC and WWE license for merchandising, they do not expect tariffs to hit them in a major way as they don't produce their own merchandise.
Okay.
They set records for partners and sponsorships at Mania, with every match being sponsored by an advertiser. There will be updates on their new boxing promotion with Saudi Arabia when appropriate. So they're in the works of potentially starting a boxing promotion there. There is no new update on a new UFC TV/streaming deal. So nothing in the world of there. They are going to hope to do 12 boxing events a year.
Wow.
With 1 to 4 super fights a year, including the next Canelo Alvarez fight. They will reveal the name of the partnership soon. Dana White and Nick Khan will help guide them. So keep that in mind whenever we start talking about some things. They asked about the biggest opportunity monetizing WWE. This is where Nick Khan jumped in. They praised the acquisition of Lucha Libre AAA, which happened at WrestleMania weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you look at some of the recent additions to the rosters, and Penta and Phoenix had massive social media impressions. They noticed the Latino audience would be there if someone like them was there when Bad Bunny appeared. He plugged the Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank events on the 7th of June. The short-term financial impact isn't meaningful, but they feel that they can take a family-operated promotion to increased partnership, TV rights, and live event revenues, as well as tap into the heritage of the company. There's nothing similar on the horizon.
Okay.
They asked if the growth could be sustained once they monetize the UFC and WWE PLEs. They said their management team doesn't sit still. They have a way to go on live ticket revenue for WWE. They're going to launch new brands and new shows. New brands and new shows. That'll be something we can talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
There will be new leagues they unearthed, such as AAA, new partners for On Location. PBR is a niche in the Western lifestyle, and they're growing it with more programming. They painted it as it has a lot of room to grow.
Wow. Okay.
So that is the conference call. Now, here is the financial report itself.
Okay.
First quarter financial highlights, a revenue of, I'm going to guess this is $1.268 billion. Well, it's 1,268.8 million. If you
so a billion.
Comment there, it's got to be a billion, right? I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but to me, that's a billion.
Yeah. 1,000 million is a billion.
That's what I thought. net income of $165.5 million, and an adjusted EBITDA2, which I have no idea what the fuck that stands for. I'm not smart.
Nope, absolutely not.
Of
I'm not
$417.4 million.
okay.
Full year 2025 guidance, excluding the impact of the acquired businesses, the company increased its targets revenue to $3.5 billion to $3.075 billion, from the 2.9 to 3 billion, and the adjusted number of 1.39 to 1.43 billion.
So basically, printing money.
Revenue increased 4%, or 46.5 million. The increase primarily reflects an increase of 74.8 million in the WWE to 31.9 million overall, and a 47.6 million increase at the UFC to 359.7 million. Free cash flow was $135.5 million, an increase of $128.0 million from the $7.5 million.
Free cash flow. Good Lord.
Yeah. So in 2025, so far, UFC 359, WWE 391, IMG $476.3 million. All of them, I'm sorry, WWE and UFC up, IMG down about 70-ish million.
Okay.
In other news, cha-ching.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Printing money. And this is one of those things where you see these numbers, you see that, you have guys that are printing money like the WWE is, and then you sit to yourself and you go, man, what the hell are they doing releasing people?
Why are they firing people? Well, look, this has hit my world on like multiple fronts this week, because the radio show that I listen to every day, one of their staff members was let go by the station due to budget cuts and things by their parent company. So this has hit my world multiple times in the last week. Now the company that owns the radio station that I listen to the morning show of, they're cutting because they are hemorrhaging money. So it's cutting for two different reasons. But the sad thing is, in the corporate world, is the corporate overlords, so to speak, don't really care. So if a place is hemorrhaging money, they will cut to try to, stop the bleeding, so to speak. In instances of places like the WWE, when you were so successful, part of the reason that you do staff cuts is because another way to maximize profits for shareholders is to, quote unquote, trim the fat. And that's what sucks, is because, yeah, you hear these numbers 5 days after a pretty massive round of cuts, and we can kind of talk about them a little bit, and then if/when Joe gets here, we can continue with him. But this happens kind of on an annual basis. This is WWE firing season. It's shitty. It sucks. You hate to see people lose their job. But it's something that these corporations do, because they're like, okay, like, if it's our annual budget cutting seasons, where like, what's the expendable portions here? And that's what they do. And I'll say this too: the with NXT. Now, Mike, and I know you understand this as a sports fan, especially in sports, baseball and hockey that have deep developmental systems. The NBA has developmental leagues as well. The NFL has practice squads and things like that. They have depth beyond just the roster that we see on Sundays. Sometimes when you have these developmental players, these guys that you sign to practice squads, you sign after the draft to invite to training camp, you're signing them with the knowledge that a lot of them are probably going to be released, right? You're signing them to see if they are going to develop into a roster member of your team. So as it comes to the Performance Center / NXT, that's what the WWE is doing. So they are signing people to see, can we develop these individuals into WWE superstars? So it sucks. Again, it absolutely sucks. But as a sports fan, stuff like this happens. We're going to give them a try. Doesn't work out. Hey, thanks for coming. We'll call you later, if we won't try again. The main roster cuts. The sad thing there is if somebody's been on the main roster for a handful of years and the WWE either hasn't boosted them to a higher level or they've been at the higher level but they're on the regress, staring at Braun Strowman. The sad reality is a business is going to look at them and go, okay, I think we're done here. And I know as fans, obviously we get attached to different superstars, and the release of different superstars hits us in different ways. No different than when a player gets traded from one of our favorite sports teams, when a guy gets cut from one of our favorite sports teams. Like, it stinks because you're like, man, I kind of wanted something from this guy or whatever, this girl. So it stinks. It's kind of this weird thing of that I can do, and I think it's just the way that my brain works to handle anxieties in life and all of that, is I can kind of compartmentalize things. So on one half of the brain, I'm like, man, I feel really bad for the, 15, 20 people that got released. I feel bad for them. It sucks. Like, I think they could have done more with Shayna. I think they could have done more with Dakota Kai. If they cared about the women's tag division, they probably could have done even more with Carter and Chance. Like, Shotzi never got a chance to go. Cora Jade, I thought, was a future star, right? But on the other half of my brain, I'm like, this is what happens. Like, this is just part of the annual process, and it sucks. And I hope they all land on their feet, whether it's in wrestling or in retirement. But like, this, unfortunately, and especially in that business, this is what happens. This is why so many ex-wrestlers have said, don't make this your only career chance. This is why so many people, and why we're starting to see in the NFL and in different contact sports, guys staying in college longer, guys starting to have like a plan outside of, and players that, after a concussion or two, or they get beat up for a couple years, they go, you know what, I'm 26, but I'm done here, because we're able to finally see, what happens to wrestlers and athletes in their later life, and go, man, we got to be better than this. So I hope everybody lands on their feet, but man, it's just it's I can compartmentalize it in an odd way.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the guys who have then gone and noticed that they need to do something different at the end of, towards the end of their careers. I mean, perfect example, at least that pops into my mind, Michigan guy, Taylor Lewan.
Mm-hmm.
Good offensive lineman for the Titans for all those years.
Yeah.
Had the ACL surgery, then, he had a malpractice lawsuit against Dr. James Andrews that left him with permanent damage or whatever. So what did he do? He went and got a couple of his friends like Will Compton, and they started their own podcast, kind of similar to the Pat McAfee show. Got picked up by Barstool, and they've kind of found their niche, and they've found their thing, and they've made it work ever since. And like, it's things like that guys are going above and beyond to do other things to get themselves out there on a bigger scale. When it comes to the releases, I think there's certain people who were let go that I scratch my head and I go, man, fuck. But then you start thinking about, well, they've been hurt a lot. Well, the chances they haven't gotten over. Hell, one of them helped spread COVID. Thanks, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Because you gave it to us at that fucking Elimination Chamber in Philly. Appreciate you. Gave it to all of us. I'm sure of it. No, but I mean, all joking aside, when you look at the people who were released, Eddie Thorpe was just in the NXT title picture not 3 months ago. What did they see behind the scenes that all we see is, oh, they could have done this? You're right, they could have. But is he a headache? Is he a problem? Does he not want to show up to training?
Right.
Is this a preemptive cut because they knew they were going to cut Dakota because she can't stay healthy and they're a couple?
Right.
Heard things on the way out with him in New Japan wasn't the greatest of things. Maybe there was some ruffling of the feathers of.
I mean, there's attitude issues that we don't really know about.
And I'm not saying that because I don't know him and I'm obviously not backstage, but
sure,
playing the devil's advocate side of the fence, there may be issues that we don't know about with some of this developmental talent. The main roster members who have been let go, it sucks for Carter and Chance. They should have been tag champs multiple times, should have had long title runs, should have had good matches with people. But guys, we can't act like we're surprised. They didn't give a shit about the men's tag division for 30 years. You think they're going to give a fuck about the women's one?
Bingo.
We're not reinventing the wheel here. Right. They've never cared about tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
They cared about it for about 4 years when it was the TLC, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys.
And it became a little bit more featured when you had the New Day and the Usos, and you could make the New Day the longest running tag champs of all time because WWE loves breaking their own records.
And then the Usos broke.
Staring at Roman Reigns, staring at John Cena, right? Like,
and then the Usos broke the fucking record that the New Day had as part of the Bloodline storyline.
Yeah. So like, and if it'll probably be a little bit till we get a tag team that can set that again, because right now the tag teams that you have now, like, granted the Street Profits probably would have the best chance, but like, they just seem so hot and cold with them that you never know. But yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the sad thing is it's just like, well, are these just going to become the NXT women's tag titles again? Because like NXT booking when it comes to women and the having women's stories that don't just involve titles is infinitely better than the main roster.
It is, but here's the issue. You got rid of one of the Metaphor girls, so now you lost one of the tag teams there. You're probably calling up Julia and Roxanne Perez in the not so distant future. So that's 2 more members of that roster that are going to be gone. You still have the Fatal Influence girls with Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henley and JC Jane. So you have them. You got Jakara Jackson. You have Stephanie Vakor. You have Sol Ruka and Zarya. You have talent there. I'm not saying that you don't have talent there, but I just don't know that they have tag teams in general in the women's division. The women's division of tag teams feels like it's the late 90s tag team division of Monday Night Raw. Stone Cold Steve Austin and insert other face here taking on somebody from the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah.
It's single stars that have nothing to do that are getting paired together. I'm looking at you, Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. We're doing it with the men's tag team division right now. I don't know necessarily that I think that them becoming the NXT women's tag titles save them.
Yeah.
I think goal number one is you have to get them off of Liv and Raquel. Who that is, I don't care. And then you make whatever decision you want to make with them. Because you're going to go send Liv off to be this new movie star, and she's going to be gone for a little bit. So you're kind of hot and cold them. The problem is you can't just not bring them back when the two of them come back.
Right.
Because fans are going to go, well, where are the titles? Where are the titles at? Even if you're just trying to kill them, you're like, where are they at? Why don't you have them? We want that women's tag division back. No, we don't. It's actually the last thing the fans want back is that women's tag division. Fuck that. You know, it's unfortunate. Shayna Baszler, I think, will be good in probably AEW, probably Bloodsport, probably GCW. I think she'll be just fine for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much more she has than 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
At 45.
Yeah, she'll be 45 in August. At the beginning of this is the funny part. At the beginning of 3 Count Thursday, my other wrestling show, I think it was in our first year. This is year 11, by the way, for those that don't know the connection. Head over there, follow, like, subscribe, all of that. But in the first year of 3CT, there was a point on one of the shows where we just got to the discussing Randy Orton's age. And like the term that, like, and I don't think I've ever used this term before, but like the term wrong side of 30 was brought up about Randy Orton at the time, and he was 34. Right? Like he was 34. So like and so now Randy, of course, is 45 and obviously still doing the thing and doing it at a high level. 45. He just turned 45. So yeah, it would have been the first year of 3CT. So that's been a recurring joke over the years. And like I jokingly said tonight, like Shayna Baszler's on the wrong side of 40. And we've said that about AJ Styles. We've said that about Batista. It's not an ageism thing. But yeah, I mean, the reality is when you start to get up there, because AJ Styles has even talked about it, that he's really at the tail end of his career. He doesn't want to wrestle when he's 50. So he has a deadline, and that's just kind of the reality of the thing. But yeah, it's, it feels like a really awkward and awful thing to say, but when I look at the list of releases, like there is nobody on that list that super surprised me. Dakota Kai, a little bit surprising, especially if the rumors of Asuka and Kairi Sane soon being healthy are true, because you still kind of had, damage control there for them to return to. Now, granted, they could just return and be the Kabuki Warriors, or they could just come back and both be single stars. I don't know what the WWE's plan there is, because again, you don't really have a women's tag division, so why are you going to have the Kabuki Warriors? Cora Jade, kind of surprising, because like, she's kind of recently come back, and she was on Raw like 2 weeks ago with, I think, right, with the was she on Raw with the Roxanne?
No, that was Julia.
It was Julia, that's right.
But she was part of the TNA partnership. She had
that's what it was. I knew she was like doing something recently.
She appeared on Impact. She's done other things. She was just involved in a tag title
Yeah,
fatal four-way with Roxanne Perez. Like
just and gone, right? Like, so
that one, and that one genuinely feels like something else is going on.
right. Because she has
Because
a close relationship with Punk and now with her, possibly future in the OnlyFans business. And
I think it's the fact that her ex-boyfriend's now dating Thea Hale.
wow, yeah, that could probably be it.
And if their breakup was ugly and you bring that drama to work, and on top of it, she hasn't been able to stay healthy, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. No fault of her own on the knee ligaments going kaputnik, but she's had 2 major knee surgeries. Like, shocking, yes. But I feel that if you go down the list of every person that was released from their contract, there's probably something that you can look at it and go, wrong side of 40, injury prone, potential head case backstage, being paid too much, Braun Strowman.
Yeah, because apparently
That's
that's the
come
way
out.
is Triple H is like, yeah, well, we have no problem bringing him back, but right now he's making too much money for always being hurt.
Wow, sounds like what you do to an NFL quarterback when you want him to rework his contract whenever he's getting paid too much and can't stay healthy.
Ding. Like,
I'm not happy that anyone lost their job. But
correct. That's the important thing to remember.
When you start looking at the list of the people who got let go, you're like, injury prone. Don't care about the women's tag division. Don't see really either one of them as single stars. Sorry, Caden Katana. I like both of you, but I don't see you guys as single stars in the
Not in
getting elevated.
WWE.
Not getting elevated into a main event feud anytime soon. Look at the people who are there. Unfortunately, they're not on that level. Shayna Baszler, wrong side of 40. Plus, they already got rid of Sonya Deville from the Pure Fusion collection, and ever since that happened, you really haven't seen them.
Yeah.
I mean, you start looking at the people, like the NXT cuts are more the ones where you're like, man, is so and so really better off not being here? Is so and so really gonna go out in the Indies and be this much better? Maybe. Are they gonna get signed by AEW? Maybe. They're gonna go to TNA? Possibly.
Yeah.
I think we have a more like a. It's not fun. It's not fun watching people lose their job.
So Katana Chance, Casey Catanzaro, like she became like notable because of her spot in the 2019 Royal Rumble.
That was a complete ripoff of her spot from America Ninja Warrior.
Right. So if in 6 years on and off the main roster, up and down, if you haven't really gotten that spot, the unfortunate reality is you're never getting it, most likely. Like that's the unfortunate news.
Mm-hmm.
Is you're never going to be that in that spot. You just aren't. And at some point, like you said, whether it's the aging quarterback or it's Stonejaw Brady Quinn, marathon man around the backup circuit, eventually either teams are going to stop signing you, you're going to get cut, and then you just make a decision, hey, maybe I'm just never going to make it in the NFL. So at that point you have the option of CFL when it's around the Arena Football League, the UFL, or I'll go into retirement and end up hosting Fox Sports Radio morning show. Like that's just where we are. And again, we can't reiterate enough. Like it sucks that people are losing their jobs. Like it sucks. It's unfortunate. It is a really crappy thing because you'd never want people to lose their job, especially, and this is not a political thing, but especially in a time where things are going to get more expensive and all of that. So like, I hope these folks land on their feet as quickly as possible. Um, and if the door reopens, some will take it, some will not. But yeah, it's a bummer. You hate to see it. Unfortunately, when April and May roll around, it it's just gonna happen. It it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't justify it, but it's just the thing that happens.
Happens in the business, unfortunately.
Yep.
All right, so Joe is actually not going to join us.
He did finally confirm that with us.
He decided that Juice Box and Nappy Poos was
which, like, I mean, to be fair, when he said I'll be on in a couple of minutes, and then like 10 minutes went by, I was like, he's not joining us.
No. No. I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, all right, he's done.
He's not gonna make it.
No.
Today.
I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, he's gone. So, got anything else on the releases?
No, man, I don't. I think we did a good job talking about it. Because I don't, I don't want to just do the thing that like every podcast is doing this week of like, who did WWE mess up with, and who's going to end up in AEW, and so yeah, I think we did a really good job at hashing through those.
All right, then I guess let's get to the raking them back.
Let's talk about the backlash. Let me pull up the card here. I do have
my back.
Actually, do have a graphic. Let's see. Bam.
Yeah,
five match card. Should be in and out pretty easy. Probably more commercial time than match time. I'm sure there'll be accounts on Twitter that'll be hitting their stopwatches. But nonetheless, this Saturday night, May 10th, from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri, home of the almost in the second round St. Louis Blues, a Game 7 loss in overtime to the Winnipeg Jets. But we will start here. Intercontinental title match. It is Dirty Dom Mysterio, which I guess they dropped the dirty actually from his name, taking on and defending against Penta.
Yeah, I see a lot of people at home that this is Penta's time to win. It's not Penta's time, at least not to walk out with the title. I could see that it end up being a disqualification victory for Penta, but I don't see him walking out with the title.
Yeah, if anything that we see here, it might be one of those situations of, you have him lose, win or lose by DQ, furthering the storyline with Dom versus Finn Balor, that sort of stuff. It's not going to be a clean win for Dom, but no, there's no way that Penta's walking out with the world or the Intercontinental title. It's just, it's not. He will get it eventually. I think we've seen enough smoke here. The popularity of Penta is only rising with the WWE now that they're getting even more creative with the walk and everything, which again, man, I look at that and I go, whether or not you wanted to make Penta a quote unquote pillar of AEW, but like, everybody wants to talk about the WWE fumbling the bag. Penta feels so much bigger of a star in WWE than he ever did in AEW. And granted, AEW put him on a national TV. They introduced the American wrestling audience to Penta. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and he has only competed in mid-card title and mid-card feuds.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't rush him to the title. They didn't rush him to the title picture. But he already seems like such a bigger star than he ever did in AEW. That's a bag fumble by Tony Khan. It is.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the reality of this situation. But yeah, I think Dom is definitely leaving St. Louis with the Intercontinental title. Speaking of people leaving St. Louis with their titles, fatal 4-way match for the U.S. title. Jacob Fatu defending against Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and L.A. Knight.
So, rumor on the street is that Jacob's still dinged up from the WrestleMania match.
Okay.
Is that the reason why we're doing a fatal 4-way here?
Probably, so you can kind of avoid some bumps.
You can save the bump card a little bit, and kind of still let him hit the little Mooney salt, and hit the moves that he's got to hit to walk out with the title.
Hit your spots. Everybody else can do the legwork.
And especially because of the whole Solo Sikoa getting Drew McIntyre added to this match by, he's the number one contender. It continues the Solo's going to be the one that inevitably cost Jacob this title at some point in this marathon. So that being said, I don't think it's here though. Give me the Samoan werewolf to retain. I think any of the other three guys would be okay as U.S. champion, but you just did all this work to get it on Jacob. I don't think you're taking it off as quickly as, one weekend.
No, you're not. And now, granted, the only way that it does move is if there's decent injury or something that may keep him from defending a little bit beyond this. Then that's where you maybe do like Solo's music hits or something. He doesn't totally get involved, but like there's just some confusion, and it ends up being where Priest pins LA Knight while Jacob's distracted. Something like that. But yeah, if he's 65% or more healthy, this title should not move. Jacob Fatu with the victory. Next one here, singles match. I somehow can't believe this is still really a thing. Pat McAfee versus Gunther.
The greatest singles match of all time. You guys talked about it on 3CT, and you guys kind of were giving Ryan a hard time about it. I agree with them. I think this match is going to be an absolute fucking fantastic fucking match. I think that this is going to be a coming out party, where we've sat here and Pat was right in that press the promo.
Gunther, hell of a promo on Sunday. Look,
Gunther keeps overlooking everyone.
I have my own personal issues with Pat McAfee at times, but the promo this week was spot on.
And that's the thing. Like, he talked about it, and I know you guys brought up the whole Stephanie's Place thing, and I've watched 3 episodes now of that. I watched the CM Punk one, which is episode number 1. I watched the Cody Rhodes, and I watched the now Pat McAfee one. The Pat McAfee one, he says something in that show that I think hits home, and when you take a step back and you look at it, he's really been a professional wrestler his entire life.
Okay.
He was a professional wrestler when he played in the NFL. He did all the Razor Ramon walk. He did the Conor McGregor strut on the punts. He's always had that aura and the corniness about him where, and then since he's gone on to do College Game Day, He's taken something that is an integral part of professional wrestling and brought it to college football. And it's the promo. When they go to him to start college game day, he always has the dogs in red are going to take on the tide of crimson, and he's painting the picture of what's going to happen, the ebbs and the flows, and the good guys and the bad guys, and you're playing in enemy territory, and how are they going to survive? He's always had the professional wrestler in him. Pat is not the most gifted when it comes to muscles and height. No. He's been gifted, though, two things that every professional wrestler needs: athleticism and promo ability.
That's a good point.
Gunther's going to beat the absolute fuck out of him. But guess what? This might be one of the best Gunther matches that we see. You want to know why? Because he's got a dance partner that he can then look up and be like, I am the biggest and baddest motherfucker in this company. Because he's got a guy who's going to bump for him. He's got a guy who's going to take chops for him. He's got a guy who's going to get the shit kicked out of him and still possibly win this match. Because of the new side of Gunther that we're going to see on Saturday night. To be brutally honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if Pat McAfee wins while being choked unconscious.
Do you think it's one of those?
He just doesn't let go of the choke.
It's a referee. It's a DQ.
Pat could pin him. His shoulders are down.
Oh.
And he just refuses to give up the choke.
He's on his back, choking him out.
Because Pat told him he has no balls. I can see Gunther losing this match because of what Pat McAfee's trying to get out of him.
Gotcha. See, I was thinking of like he's beating him so bad, referee's trying to stop Gunther, and he just keeps that. Which could also happen.
That's 1,000% in play. I think both of those options are in play. I think both of those are things that you have to think about, because at this point, if you're going to send Gunther to this evil, dark, angry place, the first one has to be bad.
Yeah.
And so here's the deal. What if this is also Pat McAfee? Hey guys, I've been going pretty hard since that Netflix relaunch, Can I get a week or two off?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, cool. Here, show up to St. Louis, get your doors blown off by Gunther. We'll see you June 7th for Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Very well possible. Gunther, I think Gunther does win. If Pat wins, it's going to be something fluky, like him trying to get out of the choke. He does the spot in the corner where he fucking flips him over and he's on his back, or the disqualification because Gunther refuses to give up the hold. I just, if this thing ends dominantly, Gunther should win this match.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Gunther should ultimately win, in my opinion. In our house, we're a Gunther house.
Mm-hmm.
But given kind of like that look at it, which I didn't really think about, I could certainly see a world where he just doesn't stop beating him, gets disqualified, or is just choking him out and doesn't give a shit. Like, go ahead and fucking pin me. I don't care. I'm going to make this fucker's head pop off. Like, you can pin me. I don't give a shit. I'm going to hurt this. I'm going to hurt this man seriously. Yeah, that's a great point.
I love bots. I love bots.
Great breaking news. Donald Trump had bought AEW. Together we will make AEW great again. From America Lover.
I'm just saying I love bots. They're my
Love
favorite.
it. Welcome to the internet. Next one, we have a singles match for the women's intercontinental title. Lyra Valkyria, hopefully wearing that little skirt from Raw again. The Look At It Hall of Fame match. And defending her intercontinental title against Becky Lynch.
Yeah, Look At It is correct. There's not a chance in hell that Lyra walks out with this belt. Sorry.
Not a chance.
Sorry. As much as, we like to crack the joke because of Devin with the bacteria and all of that. And Lyra's been a very good
I am not about. I am the real Donald Trump, and what I see going on in Dynamite right now, it is quite a shame.
I would laugh my ass off if this is Ryan on a fake fucking parody account.
Well, they left a comment on the 3CT, so maybe that is. Maybe it is. Maybe it's one of my friends pranking me, which fantastic. Well, Don, thanks for watching, bud. Good to see that's
Huge.
what you're doing. That's good to see. That's what you're doing at midnight on the East Coast.
Thank you, Donald.
Appreciate clearly, you have nothing else more pressing to be doing. So
correct.
We appreciate the watch and the follow.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that there's any way you bring Becky Lynch back in the way that you did, and this now leads to
have her honk on the microphone for 3 straight weeks. Her promos are bad, man. Like we talked about Mercedes Moné being a bad promo and Charlotte Flair being a bad promo. These Becky promos since this return have been rough.
Becky, as a mom, promos not great, Bob.
Tough. It's tough.
They're hard watches, which is unfortunate because I actually do like Becky Lynch, but like it ain't getting any easier.
I've never been the biggest Becky fan, but I've always been able to appreciate how good she is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it just seems like time has come where maybe she does need to join the Paul Heyman group, just so Paul can cut her promos too. Like, as much as I'm not rooting for that, because
right,
I would hope that they would go to another woman that isn't Seth Rollins' wife if they're really going to add a female to the group, but it wouldn't hurt, I think, at this point.
Nope, certainly not. Yeah, look, I mean, let's be honest. Like, do I think Gunther will win? Should win? Yes. We've explained how Pat McAfee could win.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think anybody but Jacob Fatu should win the U.S. title match? No, but we've kind of talked about some ways around it if there's injury concerns there. Do I think it's too early for Dominic Mysterio to lose? I do. However, if we want to fast forward on the more of the Finn Balor stuff, distracts Dom, Penta wins. Like, that wouldn't be like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Penta leaves St. Louis with the title, and it wouldn't be like an egregious thing. And again, I am a fan of Lyra. I really am. I think she's really good in the ring. I think they still need to kind of figure out what exactly this bird gimmick is, and kind of hone that in. But I think we've seen her confidence growing, especially in this Intercontinental title run. But there is absolutely no chance that she's retaining on Saturday. Not a chance.
I would say that there's like a 0.01.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you can never say never in pro wrestling.
Well, no, I would say because that would be the return of Bayley, who Becky took out.
That's fair. But
now we're at too many schmozzy finishes in the same fucking show.
Yeah. And so now, like when we're looking at this and then the final match we're going to talk about, I think there's a better chance Randy Orton leaves as WWE champion than there is Lyra retaining the title.
I agree.
Both are very small, extremely small.
Both of which are under 5%, but
oh, very much so. Yeah. I mean, like we said, Lyra's is like under 1%. But like, yeah, it's absolutely going to be Becky's win. I can't wait for Money in the Bank or Summerfest, Becky Lynch versus Bayley for the Intercontinental title.
I can't wait for someone to win Money in the Bank and cash in on a mid-card title like Austin Theory did that one year.
Oh, could you imagine?
They cash in on the women's U.S. title.
Oh my God. Chelsea Green
to get her belt back to become
Chelsea
president.
Green to get her belt back. Congratulations. Okay, but besides people who got released this week, congrats on Chelsea on re-signing with the WWE.
Yep, there's the giveaway, bud.
Well, have a fabulous rest of your live stream. I gotta go comb my gorgeous hair and eat my Big Mac. And Travis Scott better not get involved in Cena's match again, or that'll be quite a shame. Well, that's true. I do hope that Travis Scott does not get involved in that main event again. I do. Yeah, fucking now I want a Big Mac. See, that's the problem of like eating better and eating less is like there's things that I want and I haven't had a fast food burger. Okay. Like a traditional fast food burger in like over a month.
All right.
We have gone. I don't know if do you guys have Freddy's in Florida?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I know you have Steak and Shake down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Freddy's is kind of like Steak and Shake, steak burgers, French fries, fried apps, milkshakes, that deal.
Yeah.
It is a chain. They recently just put one in Lancaster. We've grabbed them. We've done it twice. And like as much as I can, like I do single patty, fries, mini milkshake. So like I'm eating bad, but I'm trying to eat as little bad as possible. But I haven't like the couple times I've gone to McDonald's, I've gotten like chicken nuggets. Like still not great for me.
Chicken selects.
But like calorically better than a fucking Big Mac or a quarter pounder.
1,000%.
So you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm working at it. But
have you tried the new chicken strips?
I haven't. Are they good?
I feel like they're better than the chicken nuggets. Like the meat in the chicken strips are a lot better. But I don't know that they're long term that great.
Okay. Well, you better catch up on your steak.
Love it.
Love it. All right, last one here. Singles match for the undisputed WWE title. John Cena versus Randy Orton.
Well, I sarcastically said on the 3CT stream tonight that I can't wait for Travis Scott to come out and cost Randy Orton the world title in St. Louis.
I hear that song again. They played it. I think it was one of the hockey games I was watching. Oh, it was the Toronto game.
Shocker.
It was a Toronto game last night.
Guys in Toronto playing fucking.
And I'm sitting there and fucking is between plays. And I heard like the beginning of the song and I went, oh no. And I swear I am not exaggerating. You know, it could have been coincidental, but you know, when you get them like eye twitchies, my fucking eyes started twitching, man. I'm like,
you were catching the fiend.
I was like, what the fuck? Fiend. No, make it stop. I don't want Travis Scott to hit Max Pacioretty in the head with a title belt.
the jankety new hardcore title that they made just for him.
This fucking what an awful song.
Oh man, too bad he can't come out to Mo Bamba. That'd be so much better. At least I could vibe to that. That being said, I hate the fact that this is being billed as one last time. I fucking hate it.
Oh yeah, because like Michael Cole gives you potentially one last time. Like they're telling you to finish.
I fucking hate it. I hate that they're building this one last time. I hate the fact that they fucking build Rock Cena's once in a lifetime. Thought that was fucking shit. Cena's winning this, or Cena's walking out with the title. Does he win the match? That I don't know. I could see Randy setting up for an RKO and John just turning around and kicking the ref right in the nuts and fucking walking right out the ring. I could see it happening. This is it. This is something that I tried to say on the post WrestleMania show. This is something I've tried to reiterate when it comes to John Cena. This John Cena is not supposed to be the John Cena that everybody loves, that you're getting good matches out of, that you're getting this great final run out of John Cena from an in-ring perspective. This John Cena is here to kill professional wrestling. How does he do it? Having bad matches, having annoying people like Travis Scott show up to help him win matches when we're expecting The Rock, cheating and screwing Randy over winning the title in his own hometown. He is the last real world champion. He is the last guy. He said that he's taking it and he's taking it home with him and that we get nothing. These matches aren't supposed to be good, boys and girls. If you wanted final chapter, 5-star matches, big match John, you're in the wrong boat. And that boat was set to sail when he won the Elimination Chamber and he sold his soul to The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're still living in Royal Rumble John Cena, where it's everybody's sunshine and rainbows, and he's going to earn this, and he's going to have all these great matches as he comes down the retirement tour, that's your fault. You have no one to blame but yourself. Because he told you at Elimination Chamber, when he dropped the microphone, he walked out of the press conference. He doesn't care about anything except for winning. And now that he has the title, he doesn't care about anything except for keeping it.
And he ain't giving it up.
You ain't getting a 5-star match on Saturday night. Don't expect it. If that thing's a 3-star match with a 2.5-star finish, slam dunk. I think Orton wins the match. I think it's via disqualification, whether it's Travis Scott gets involved again to piss everybody off at home. Because how does John Cena keep getting booed? He keeps bringing in the most annoying person possible. Who does the wrestling community hate more than anything else in the world right now? It's Travis Scott. It's the whole reason why The Rock didn't show up. Yep. Rock's music hits, he gets cheered. Whether he's coming out to help Cena, whether he's going to cost Cena and him and Cody are doing the double turn, it don't matter. Rock's getting cheered. Yeah. This John Cena character is doing everything in his power to not be cheered. How does that happen? By The Rock not showing up.
Mm-hmm. And not giving you what you want.
There it is. Everyone for the last month. That fucking finish at WrestleMania sucked. Why?
Supposed to.
Why do you think it sucked? Because you didn't get what you wanted? He told you that you get nothing. Yeah. He told you it was coming. And you still fell for it.
Yeah. I was the night of night 2. Like I was mad because after night 1, again, I talked about it here when we recapped it. I did the thing that I yell at wrestling fans for doing. You made up a story in your head. You believed it was going to happen. And when it didn't happen, you were mad that WWE didn't do the story that you claim they told you was going to happen when they didn't. Now, I didn't go quite that far, but I did start fantasy booking some things in my head. They didn't turn out to be anything. And I thought, well, at least The Rock's going to show up. And then he didn't. And I was like, well, what the fuck? Until, again, you start to piecemeal it and you think about it and you go back and you look over the first promo in was it the one in Brussels or Austria? Mm-hmm. And he told you get nothing. You don't get new music. You don't get new this. You don't get new that. You get me. He literally came out at WrestleMania and since WrestleMania to black screens with Arial font white John Cena written on them. That's it. You don't even get like the John Cena stuff on the Tron. So like whether it was, I fooled myself or the however it pieces together, like I've got fooled at WrestleMania, right? Like I did. I fell for it. I fell for myself. I fell for whatever it was.
Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Like I'm not getting doped in. Like I expect it to be quote unquote bad, right? Like I expect it to be, because we've been told you're not going to get what you want. He is going to win, no matter however he has to find a way. He's going to win. So yeah, John Cena, by hook or by crook, is leaving St. Louis as still the 17-time world champion. Period. Again, the smallest of chances. Well, not the smallest, because that's literally Lyra's chances of walking out with the Intercontinental title. But like the second smallest of chances.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I would say 5-7%.
Sure.
There is that chance that, Cody comes back and distracts John, and Randy hits an RKO out of nowhere and wins the title, and then maybe John wins it back and it becomes twice in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Second last time. I mean, the way I look at it is, I'm not going to say that there's a 0.0% chance, because that's how you set this up for failure. But I will say that I think that there's a true realistic thought process that John Cena needs to walk out of St. Louis with the title. And I think everybody has to be okay with this match just not being prime Cena versus prime Orton on Raw in the middle of the 2010s, because it's not going to be that.
Right.
I think if you go into this match knowing that these two guys are going to tell a story, and personally, I think John and Randy have a lot of respect for each other, and I don't think it's anything other than, those two guys are going to go have a great match.
Oh yeah.
But it's not going to be a great match. Like, they're going to tell a great story. They're going to do the things that they have to do. But this match isn't going to be good.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So I we didn't address it during the Pat McAfee Big Gunth portion of it, because Tim already broke your brain with it over on 3CT. Bill Goldberg. For those of you listening, the rumor across the interwebs is that Big Gunth is the sought after final opponent for Bill Goldberg.
Happen. And whether Bill Goldberg, let me tell you something about Bill Goldberg. Everybody talks about Bill Goldberg. Well, there's one guy that can beat Bill Goldberg, and it's me.
He prefers to just be called Goldberg.
Tell him to say it to my face. Say it to my face, Bill Goldberg.
All right.
That's such a great promo. Say it to my face, Bill Goldberg.
Say it to my face, Bill Goldberg. It's
so with that being said, and then we can go to Wrestlers of the Week. I personally, if Bill Goldberg's having a retirement match, I don't know that I need to be Gunther.
No, please God, no.
Because I think I'd rather Bill Goldberg do the thing that Bill Goldberg does, and that's win his last match.
Can we bring Nick Nemeth back for one night? And that famous night was at SummerSlam, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Just give me Goldberg spearing the shit out of Dolph Ziggler over and over and over. You want to make me okay with a Bill Goldberg match in 2025? Do that Bill Goldberg match.
Found it.
Yeah, there we go. We found a way to make Jim okay with a Bill Goldberg match.
Yeah. Nick Nemeth dies.
Hey Nick, you want to make some extra ducats tonight?
He's got to take 13 spears.
Sure, what do I got to do? Well, come to New York the first Saturday in August and get speared 47 times by Bill Goldberg.
Spear, jackhammer, spear, jackhammer, spear, jackhammer, repeat.
Rip.
So there was a fascinating tweet that I had saw that, Stone Cold had said, if you need someone to have your back, kid, I got you, to McAfee.
Okay.
Obviously, Gunther and Steve Austin is not a match that's ever going to happen.
No.
What's the percent chance that Steve shows up, and what's the percent chance that it's actually Goldberg? Because if he's going to potentially maim Pat McAfee, like we think he's going to, and the refs aren't going to be able to pull Gunther off of him, someone's got to come out to save Pat McAfee. And I don't think it's Bad News Barrett. Let's put it that way.
Oh my God, you want to see me get mad on a Saturday?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Oh my God. Well, actually, I may be okay with it because it would get him off a commentary. You know what? Give me Bad News Barrett to go in and save
him with a bull hammer. So bad. I would pop so hard if Stone Cold came out.
It'd be cool. I don't think it'll beat Steve. I don't.
I would pop for it, but I don't think it is either. Is it Goldberg? Or are we just talking ourselves into just being Bill Goldberg? So if it's somebody else, we're okay with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It is, yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can find the alleged tweet, but I don't see it. I can't, and I'm not going to look up on the Pat McAfee because he's got 8,745 million tweets. So, yeah, because trying to find his in his tweet would be like me searching for the next 3.5 days.
Yeah, fucking Twitter's a mess. But my brother randomly texts me, this Penta dude is a really fantastic wrestler. Like my brother, so there's he lives in Pinellas Park now.
Okay.
And he there's a bar near where he lives called the Beer Busters Movie Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so they, first off, you can rent like movies from them like you could at like Blockbuster back in the day. But like one of the dudes that is, I don't know if he like is a part owner or something like that, was like an independent wrestler apparently. And they like will put like AEW on like Wednesday nights there. So like my brother's like feels like he's slowly getting back into wrestling because of this bar. So he was like, yeah, he's like, I was trying to see where I can watch like recent episodes of Raw or SmackDown. He goes, because the Peacock app is like super frustrating. I was like, well, yeah, that's a fact.
That is 100% factual.
Yeah, it's 100% factual. It is one of the worst apps to navigate in the fucking app navigating world. I said, but yeah, obviously then I told him that Raw is on Netflix now, and you may be able to find USA, the SmackDown's on like USA app or something. But yeah, I guess he had seen something of Penta and was like, this dude's really fucking good. Yes, that is a fact.
Yes, 100%,
That is
100% slam dunk facts.
That is factual, my dude.
Yeah. All right, wrestlers of the week.
All right, want me to start it off?
Yeah, fire in the hole.
All right, I will start us off. Jordan Grace, she's your new number 1 contender for the NXT Women's title.
5, 8, 25. All right, we'll each take 3 since Joe's not here. You took Jordan and Grace. I am going to select what happened tonight. Oh man, your favorite wrestler won his match on Collision tonight. Old Speed Yams Mike Bailey.
Oh, good old speed bags.
I'm gonna take Miles Bourne from the No Catch Quarter crew who won the Battle Royal on NXT. He's the new number 1 contender.
All right. I will go with the return last week on SmackDown, which feels like 100 years ago. Aleister Black.
We like Aleister Black on this show.
We do.
He won me points.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. The new WWE Speed Champion, El Grande Americano.
There you go. Even though it was a disqualification win, actually no, I'm not going to go with the disqualification win. I'm going to go with a guy that delivered one of the best promos he's ever delivered, and that says a lot considering who he is. Easily one of the best promos of the year, and a really interesting twist on his side of what happened with the Bloodline and the Bloodline saga. Give me Paul Heyman.
Yeah. That's
If you have not watched that promo from Raw, do it, because man, especially there was an Instagram video. I know I sent it to you and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
If it pops up in your feed at all, and it probably will because we're talking about it. Where it's Heyman doing his promo, and there's highlight clips of everything that he's talking about. And man, does it make it really make sense why Paul Heyman did what he did at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes Paul Heyman sympathetic. That's how good of a promo it was.
Yeah, because the emotion, the real emotion that he had in that promo.
I thought he was like gonna have a fucking coronary, dude.
Well, no, that was just the extra spray tan that him and Braun Breaker had on.
No, man, go back and listen to that. You can like hear the grumbles and the rasps in his breath.
Oh,
like
that's just him being fat. That's just him being fat and out of shape. The look like he was going to spontaneously combust and was the spray tan. That was the spray tan.
Well, yeah,
him and Braun Breaker spent way too much time in the chair.
Give me some overtime hockey, baby. Come on.
Yes, I'm in. I'm all in because I have nothing to do. Oh wow, you almost scored there. That was gross. My final wrestler of the week. We're gonna go to the Independents. We're gonna go over to Jolly Old England, and we're gonna go back to Progress Wrestling, something that we haven't talked about in a little while. I'm gonna go with the winner of Super Strong Style 16, their annual tournament, and the new number 1 contender for the Progress World title. He had a match on AEW. A tryout match for them. Man like Drees.
Nice.
So give some independent wrestling some love.
I love that independent wrestling.
Man like Drees. I don't know how to spell that because I'm not smart. I said that at the beginning of the show. I'm not smart.
That's okay. We all have our flaws.
Spelling is mine.
There's a few things that are mine.
Oh, I have quite a few. But
crippling anxiety at times is one.
Well, I mean,
But yeah, I think that's a show.
that's the show, boys and girls. Jim, plug away.
Yeah, at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the social medias. We're on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Did about an hour, almost an hour and a half tonight. Really fun show. We have a fucking blast of an episode coming out on Tuesday podcast. So make sure you are following and subscribe over there. Huddle Up Podcast. We actually had a show this week. Yeah, kind of a surprising deal there. So make sure you are following and subscribing on all the platforms to listen to that. And then possibly Discussions with Nobody coming up here soon. I got some topics written down. It's a matter of finding the time to actually drag my ass into studio and record it. But basically go to Twitter and Blue Sky at Big Jim Sports. And I'm not super interactive on those sites anymore, but you can always hit the link tree. It's where all my stuff is linked to.
You can listen to the Joe Movie Podcast, Joe Movie Podcast, all one word. I'm not going to share any of other Joe's social medias for potential termination of the FCC. You can follow us at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow me at They Call Me Burn. Jim has already mentioned Huddle Up. That was a fun episode. Other than that, guys, you know what? To be fair, I'm going to end this one as with a tearjerker. Happy Mother's Day to all the women out there that are moms that listen to the Take 3 Wrestling podcast and that brought people into the world to listen to the Take 3 Wrestling podcast. So if you're listening to this, if you're listening to this, pick up the phone. Tell your mom that you love them. Until next week, for Joe, for Jim, I'm Mike. We'll see you next week on the Take 3 Wrestling podcast.